Hey guys, so something possessed me to watch my old videos, and I was watching my old coming out video, and it was one, very cringy, and two, not as detailed as it could be, because when I made that video, I was in the midst. I don't really know what that saying is. Anyways, I was in the middle of coming out for the second time. So a lot has changed since then. And also my story wasn't complete yet. I mean, it's still not, but I have another chunk of information that I didn't give in that video that I wanted to give and share and just add to my story of coming out. If you guys have not seen that video, please go ahead and check the link down below and check it out after you've watched this one. I won't repeat all of the same things, but I will, kind of say some stuff. But it is interesting to see my perspective back then about my coming out story and then my perspective now, because a lot happened right after that. At the time that I made that video, that was one of my coming out, that was like a piece of my coming out, because I didn't tell a lot of people at that point. And so there was a lot more people to tell after, and some interesting things happened after I told people. I will start from the beginning. I dated a girl in 8th grade, and she was definitely more on the tomboy side, wore a hat. Honestly, half the people thought she was a boy in the first place. I didn't think she was a boy. I knew she was a girl, but she was definitely very tomboy, very butch, or I don't know. When I dated her, I remember my mom dropped me off at the park or picked me up from the park, and I was with her, and she was like, "Who is that?" And I said Mercedes, and then she's like, "Oh, that's not a boy?" And I was like, "No, it's a girl. She's my girlfriend. Surprise." She asked, I think, just moved on, no one cared. I mean, I didn't care. It's not like my mom cared. She just said, she just said what she said. I dated her for probably 3 months. It was nothing serious, nothing long-term. One thing that I didn't mention in my last coming out story is that all through high school, actually all through all of my life, I had always been very touchy with my girlfriends, touch your boobs, touch your butt, obviously if you're comfortable with it type of thing, but I was very touchy. None of my other friends were like that. It was just me. And I never really felt such a weirdo or anything like that. I never felt I don't know, I never felt weird about it. I just did it. I knew I was different than other people, but I didn't feel super different because my friends were all super awesome and amazing, and knew that that's just how I was. And I never had to say I like girls. I never said that. In high school, I ended up only dating guys until my senior year. I mean, I didn't date a girl, but in my senior year, I was working at a grocery store in my town, and I met a girl who had been putting notes on my car. And little things, I don't know what she would write. She would write some random things, and I always thought it was this guy that I worked with. And so one day it just came out in conversation that I was her, and I was like, "Oh, hello." I asked her to go on a date. I asked her to go for yogurt, but I didn't say, frozen yogurt. I didn't say "Oh, do you want to go on a date?" I just said, "Oh, do you want to get frozen yogurt sometime?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she was tomboy, so at the time I couldn't tell if she was into girls, but now I have the best gaydar. I would have known, she looked so gay. We never ended up actually going on that date or whatever it was gonna be, because she ended up moving, and then I moved a year later and I went to LA. And in LA is where my story really, really begins. My first coming out video, I said that I had been talking with that girl. Somehow she messaged me on Facebook or something. We had been talking, and that's what kind of sparked it in me to start hanging out with girls. But the way I remember it, I'm just gonna say it the way I remember it, because I don't really remember that conversation. I had been going on a lot of dates on Tinder with guys, and every time I was just not really feeling it. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not feeling this." Not to say that I'm not attracted to guys, but I was just not feeling the energy. I knew I had been attracted to girls. I would watch so many gay videos on YouTube, coming out stories, or couples that are lesbian. I would watch so many gay things. I was just starting to feel why am I not turning my Tinder on girls, if I want to? I had always been attracted to girls. I already knew that. I was never super uncomfortable with the fact, but I never just said it to myself. I just never said it. I just never let it be a thing. Because I had been attracted to guys and was attracted to guys, I thought that you couldn't really be attracted to both. I said in my last video too that there's like this stigma around being like bisexual, pansexual, all of that like you have to choose one or the other or you are not. You're just like experimenting, or you're just I don't know, you're just something, I don't know. Well, if I'm attracted to guys, then I'm straight and I just think girls are pretty or whatever. I don't know. So something inside me was like, turn your Tinder on to girls, tell your friends. So I started making jokes to my friends in LA, like, the guys here suck, I'm gonna turn my Tinder on to girls. And then they'd be like, ha, yeah, I could never, like, I remember jokes that would be made was like, I could never eat pussy, you know, like something like that. I really thought I couldn't though, that's for real. I was like, I don't know if I could actually. I mean, think about sucking a dick. That is like honestly grosser. I would make all these jokes to my friends and we'd all laugh about it and be like, yeah, whatever. And to my friends in LA, I wasn't as like touchy as I used to be like with my close friends from high school. Like with my close friends from high school, like they just knew me, they grew up with me. They knew that I was touchy, but in college, I didn't want to be like the touchy girl, like what? So I wasn't like that. I started telling my friends this stuff, and then slowly I started taking it more seriously and telling my friends, actually, like, I'm kind of serious. Like, I think I'm attracted to girls. I think I'm gonna start dating girls. And slowly when I started telling people one by one, some people had a really weird reaction, like, no, you probably just are trying to experiment, like you're in college, or, oh, it's probably just a phase. Like, I definitely heard these things from people that like I was friends with and like knew. So it took me a little while to actually say, no, like I actually am attracted to girls. So I started putting my Tinder on girls and like meeting up with girls and going on dates. I said I don't know if it was that video or my other video about having sex with girls, but in the beginning, I was really paranoid, one, that I had dated guys, so I always thought girls were gonna like judge me for that or be like, you're just experimenting because you're in college and you've dated guys before and you've never had sex with a girl. So I always thought that sex meant like it like confirmed that you were gay. The girls that I was dating at the time, I never had sex with any of them because one, I was like, I don't know what to do. Two, I was going through some weird ass shit down there. Honestly, I don't know if I had a yeast infection or something, but it kind of was like a little funky for a little bit. For like a few months, it was a little crazy. That's kind of gross and too much information. I remember being like, oh yeah, it's a little funky, I'm not lying. We got that taken care of, we're all good. So after that, I decided I wanted to have sex with somebody. And so one of my best friends at the time, I had been telling her about all this stuff going on and like going on dates with girls and feeling like sex had to validate that and that I actually liked girls, and all these girls obviously were not gonna have sex with me because they thought I was experimenting. Me and my friend talked about it and she was like, well, I'm like kind of curious. I just want to experiment. So let's do it. So we decided to have sex together, and that way we gave each other some experience so that we could take it out into the real world. We decided to, yeah, do it. We did the things, and I was like, how am I? She's like, you good? And I was like, she's like, how am I? I'm like, you good? Or so after that, I was a little bit more comfortable to actually start like hooking up with girls. So I started doing that and like just like actually experimenting. And I think that's part of coming out. You kind of have to figure out what you like, figure out how to do things. And sex does not validate that you are attracted to a certain gender. Like, you don't have to have sex with somebody to know that you're attracted to them. Clearly, you don't need sex to validate that. So never feel like that is what is gonna make you who you are or what you're attracted to. I mean, obviously sometimes it does. Sometimes you might have sex with a gender and be like, whoa, that is not for me. I mean, that could be it, but it doesn't have to actually validate it, and don't feel like you have to have sex to know what you are. Another part of my story that I didn't actually mention in that first coming out video was when I ended up coming out to some of my friends in LA. I'm gonna start with my family actually first. I told my sister and my best friends during that video, during that time, and then my sister went and told my mom, and my mom told my dad. Or my sister told my mom and my dad, I'm not really sure. And then I had a whole video coming out to my dad. I just had a quick conversation with my mom, like, oh yeah, your sister told me this. Okay, cool. Done. None of my family really cared. All my family is so open and just like loving, and I was really lucky with that. A lot of people aren't as lucky as me when they're coming out to their families. I had two things that I got lucky with. One, I wasn't living at home, so I didn't have to worry about, oh my God, my parents are gonna kick me out or nothing like that. And two, they are so cool and they are so loving, and they just wouldn't be like that. My family's super open, and the conversation that I had with my dad was amazing. And I have that video, you guys can check it out. That's one of my favorite videos, even though it's so cringy because I just look so insane. But it's one of my favorite videos because my dad is just so amazing. Now going to my friends in LA. I started telling my friends in LA, like I said, some of them were like, And I remember one of my friends specifically who still thinks that it's a phase, which kind of like, I don't know I really don't know. Anyways, so she's still my friend. I still talk to her. I just don't talk to her about this type of stuff. She was spending the night and we were eating candy, and I was like, okay, today's the day I'm gonna tell her. And I already had a feeling like this girl's gonna be like weirded out. I ended up telling her and she was like definitely weirded out, and she said, okay, like, I mean, I think it's a phase. I think you're just like going through stuff and you just need to experiment. And I was like, okay. And then I remember we were going to sleep because she was spending the night, and she had made like a wall of pillows in between us. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I should never have even told her. Oh God. So I told her that I was attracted to girls. I liked girls. I was gonna start dating girls just to let her know. Like, I dated a girl, I dated Sauna, and then I dated Andrew. And when I was dating Andrew, she then said, oh, I told you it was just a phase. I don't think you got what I was saying. Like, I'm attracted to both. I'm pansexual. If you guys didn't get that. Yeah, that was awkward. That was really awkward. So I definitely had some like weird encounters like that, but most people have been really amazing. I'm also really lucky. I grew up in California. I got really lucky. I also lived in LA at the time, so most people are really open, and there's so many gay people there, and the LGBTQ plus community is just huge. West Hollywood, which is super gay, and it's an amazing place to be if you're gay. Like, honestly, so much fun, and you meet so many people. It's a lot harder where I live now. There's been the ups and downs of coming out, and there's been ups and downs in myself. That's one thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is there's been ups and downs in myself. Like, I sometimes feel like it's not valid, like I said, to be attracted to both guys and girls. And sometimes I go back and forth. It's not in myself. I know I'm not confused. I know that I'm just attracted to the people that I'm attracted to. But because I've dated people who are kind of insecure about that about me, like, they think, oh, you're attracted to every single person because you like both guys and girls. Because of that, it's kind of made me feel a certain way, and it makes me uncomfortable. And that's when I get in my head about myself. I'm like, is this just not normal? Like, should I not be this way? Am I not this way? And I'm just like making it up, like trying to find a way to get out of it, you know? And I think that just has to do with other people and their opinions and their thoughts and their insecurities, and has nothing to do with me personally. And I have to remember that sometimes, because it's hard when the world is not like you, you know? It's hard to accept that you're different than other people, and it's hard to feel like normal when you're not like everybody else. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride to feel confident in myself and my sexuality, and I still literally to this day go up and down with it, where I'm like, you know what, I just need to be attracted to one type of people. I literally still do that, and I think it's so sad. I shouldn't do that. I should just let myself be attracted to whoever I'm attracted to, and let myself date whoever I date. And I do let myself, but I just get really hard on myself when, I guess, outside ideas try to creep into my mind. So yeah, it's a constant struggle, but it's not horrible. I have amazing friends and family and community around me that cares for me and that accepts me. So I'm really, really lucky. Not everybody's story is as good as mine, I guess. And that's really sad. Everybody should be able to be themselves. That's my coming out story. If you guys liked it, let me know in the comments. Let me know your coming out story in the comment section. I'd love to like get a conversation going about this, about your struggles coming out, about your happy times coming out. I'd love to just hear all of it. So definitely leave that in the comments down below. Check out those 2 other videos that I talked about. They are linked down below as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video.